New quantity takeoff tools provide users with an easy-to-use method for calculating quantities using model data from AutoCAD Civil 3D Model directly. New quantity takeoff functionality includes the ability to import pay item information in from outside sources and the ability to export pay item information for use in Autodesk quantity takeoff software and AASHTO transport products. Pay item values are assigned to the objects in the drawing, including AutoCAD entities and AutoCAD Civil 3D elements. Quantity information can be extracted from both corridor models and site features. Volumetric earthwork calculations and itemized point, linear, area, and volume counts for reporting are all included. Providing a clear vision for BIM across multiple engineering disciplines and architecture, the added Revit interoperability functionality in AutoCAD Civil 3D 2010 software enables users to import Revit architecture building shells directly into AutoCAD Civil 3D. Buildings are located using the location or orientation defined in Revit, improving coordination with all members of the team. An easy-to-use wizard steps the user through the import process, which includes locating utility connection points, roof areas, building entrances, and capacity information. Collaborating with bridge engineers also becomes a reality with the ability to export alignment and surface data that can be used to model the ensuing bridge in Autodesk Revit Structure 2010. Structural engineers will need to download the bridge modeling extension for Revit Structure. This is a free download for subscription customers from the subscription centers. Then all the civil has to do is create a land XML file with the alignment and surface data and ship that over to the structural guys, and with the bridge modeling extension they can import that information directly. On a side note, Visual Basic for Applications, otherwise known as VBA, is no longer included in 2010 product installations except for Inventor 2010 and Civil 3D 2010. Autodesk has begun transitioning from the VBA to .NET technology. You can still download the VBA. You have to go to the Autodesk website to do that. The installer is in English only, but can be installed across any language version. And the same VBA module will install on all 2010 products. The VBA must be deployed using a script, and if you need more information on that, please see technical document TS 1105147. That should give you all the information that you need. Okay, now let's move over and do a little demonstration of the new software. Okay, so the first thing we want to take a look at is the new intersection design wizard. So you can see here I've opened a drawing, and in my drawing file I have two corridors, and I want to create an intersection between the two corridors. So to do that, there are a couple of things we need to do. First, we'll start off by seeing that we are on the Home tab of the ribbon, and I want to come over to the Create Design panel, and if I look at the icons and pause over them, the tooltip pops up and gives me a definition of the particular functionality of that icon. And here I move over and I see that I've got a intersection icon, so I want to click on that icon. It's going to ask me to select the intersection point. So to select the intersection point, I'm going to click on intersection for my snaps, and then I'm going to snap to the intersection point of the two roadways. Once I select that, I get the Create Intersection General dialog box. On the General tab, I'm going to leave the intersection name as the default. It's going to give me the primary alignment name and the secondary alignment name, and we will show those in just a moment. I have a marker style for that particular intersection that I can show. What layer it goes on, I can control that. And I also have an intersection label style. There's also an intersection corridor type. Here we see a primary road crown maintained, and you can see from the graphic that the primary road is running from the southwest to the northeast in this case, and you can see that the crown of that road is maintained in the graphic. The other option we have is all crowns maintained. So what this will do is the crowns of the roadways will maintain and will blend in the returns on each side. So for this particular application, we're going to select the all crowns maintained, and we'll click next. Here we see our intersecting alignments and the priority that they have. Priority 1 is 2nd Street, so that's going to be our main alignment. Priority 2 is 1st Street, so that's going to be the intersecting street. But in this case, since we're doing maintaining all crowns, we're not going to have to worry about the priority of which one's better than the other. So let's go down to our offset and curb returns. I want to make sure that the create or specify offset alignments is selected. I'm going to go to offset parameters, click there. It opens up a dialog box, and you can see I have the primary road listed first, and we have offset alignment definition. The offset value in this case is set to 3.5 meters. The same thing for the right side. I'm going to scroll down to the second road, and because these roads are peer roads, we want them to both have the same width, so we'll type in 3.5 meters for the left offset and 3.5 meters for the right offset. And if you notice, again, we have interactive graphics in the dialog box that tell us what that offset, how it's being measured, and where it appears in our design. So the graphics helps keep us aware of the situation of where we're making our modifications. So after setting the offsets, we'll click OK. We want to go down to our curb return parameters. We're going to make sure that the create curb return alignments is checked, so the software automatically creates the alignments for us. So we'll click on curb return parameters, and here you can see on the screen that we have some on-screen graphics that show up that tell us which intersection quadrant we're looking at. So in this case, we're looking at the northeast quadrant. We have the option to widen for turn lanes on the incoming road being denoted by the arrow coming into the intersection. And we could also widen the turn lane for the outgoing road, and we see which one is the outgoing road based on the arrow that's pointing away from the intersection. So in this case, we're not going to do any widening. We want to come down to our curb return parameters, and if I expand the curb return type, you'll notice that we could do a chamfer if we needed to. We're going to use a circular fillet in this case, but we could also do a 3-centered arc if we needed to. So we'll do a circular fillet, and I'm going to change that to 7.5 meters. Once I make that change, I can right-click on curb return parameters, and I can copy these to all quadrants of the intersection. So no longer do we have to go in and pick each particular quadrant and input the parameters. We can do it in one side and copy all those to the others. So again, we'll click OK. Now, under our offset and curb return profiles, we want to make sure that the create offset and curb return profiles is selected. And then we'll click next. Now we come to our corridor regions. So here we have the option to create the corridor in the intersection area. This is something that we want to do. Since we already have 2 existing corridors in our drawing, I want to add this to an existing corridor.